Okay, hello guys, Fake97 here. This time with another Harry Potter video. Here I have the second book. I just want to show it to you. The Chamber of Secrets. It's the German version. So yeah. And let's start with the next Harry Potter video. It will be a very long one. So long time no see, but now you get a very long video. And yeah, let's start with the next character. You can see him even here in the picture. But yeah, here I have the card. The next video, this video will be about Albus Dumbledore, or with his how he's fully named, with his full name, Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Prine Dumbledore. Yeah. Again, just for the record, just for the video. So it's about Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Prine Dumbledore. Okay, let's jump into it. It will be a long video. Here you see him in a picture. And as always, as you already saw, the picture of the Harry, the writer of the whole Harry Potter books, J.K. Rowling, Joanne Kathleen Rowling, or J.K. Rowling, how do you want to call her, but I always will show her because, you know, that's the mind behind all the books and films and stuff like that, you know. So here we have J.K. And let's start. I will mainly speak about the books and how Dumbledore is in the books, but also I want to talk a little bit about the movies. I mean, Dumbledore is a very important figure and portrayed by 4 different actors. Not even in the Harry Potter movies, also in the Fantastic Beasts movies. So it's even an actual theme to speak about Dumbledore. Because, yeah, Albus Dumbledore, you also see him in the Fantastic Beasts movies. And let's jump into it. I have just to look how to start. It will be a long video. To look for something. Where do I have it? And I also wanted to say, because J.K. And the relation for J.K. Rowling to Dumbledore, you know, Hermione, Harry Potter, and Ron, the characters we already discussed or spoke a little bit, or where I spoke a little bit about them. They are already, there you can see them as how she sees the world. You know, they are more JK's mind in the series, but her favorite character of the whole Harry Potter series is Albus Dumbledore. So it's her favorite character we speak about now. Yeah. Favorite character of J.K. Rowling in the whole series. I have to look for something. Here. Okay, first of all, because here you see two different Dumbledores, and that's why that has something to do with, of course, the movies. And first and second movie, Dumbledore was portrayed by I have to look for the name. In the first, now I'm ready. So on the left side you see the Dumbledore from the first and from the second movie. So from the Philosopher's Stone and from the Chamber of Secret. And there Dumbledore was portrayed by the actor Richard Harris. You see him on the left side. But Richard Harris, the actor, died, and so someone other has to play this role. So from the third movie to the seventh movie, to both parts, he was portrayed. So the most this actor playing Dumbledore, the actor on the right side. From the third to the end of the Harry Potter series to the 7 movies, Dumbledore was portrayed by Michael Gambon. I hope I speak everything correctly. Michael Gambon. And yeah, here you see Michael Gambon portraying. I hope I spoke this out correctly. Michael Gambon as Albus Dumbledore. You see him here. And here you see Richard Harris from the first and second movie who portrayed their Dumbledore here. And then we have Jude Law, who portrayed Albus Dumbledore for the most part in the Fantastic Beasts movie series. So there Albus Dumbledore is portrayed by Jude Law. And the young Dumbledore in the movies, or also when it's about his past and stuff like that, he's portrayed by Toby Regbo. So here you see Toby Regbo portraying Albus Dumbledore. Yeah, so here we have the 4 different actors who played Albus Dumbledore. And here you see him as a painting from him, The Life and Lies of Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. As it is from Rita Skeeter in the 7 books, it's here a version of it, you can say. So let's start with Dumbledore. Who is he? So Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore lived from 1881 to 1997. He becomes 115 years old. 115, because some said often 150. He's 115 years old. So yeah, let's start. Where does he come from? Albus Dumbledore is an half-blood wizard, like most likely the way Harry Potter is an half-blood wizard. That means that his mother, Kendra, comes from a Muggle family. So yeah, she's wizard too, or witch, but she comes from a Muggle family. So yeah, like most likely like Hermione. And his father comes from a wizard family. His father's name is Percival, and his mother's name is Cantra. Yeah. Then he has a younger brother named Aberforth Dumbledore, and a younger sister named Ariana Dumbledore. And yeah. Let's speak more about, or let's talk more about Albus Dumbledore's past. Here we have a good picture for it. I mean, here you see Albus Dumbledore, in his younger years, one time portrayed by Toby Regbo, and in Fantastic Beasts portrayed by Jude Law. In the portrait, or as when we see him as Toby Regbo, it's mostly about the time when he meets Gellert Grindelwald. We come later on to Gellert Grindelwald more deeper. But when he's portrayed by Toby Regbo, he's most likely about 18, 19 years old. And when he is Jude Law in Fantastic Beasts, he's already a teacher there, a professor there. Not the headmaster, but he's, maybe around 40 years old. Yeah. Here we see him as portrayed again by Toby Regbo in his when he was 18 or around 18. And here we see Elphias Dutch, who was one of his friends in his school time. He was just a good friend of Dumbledore, and people like Elphias Dutch. Here he's older, but he was around the same age as Dumbledore was. He was in school when Dumbledore was back then in school, and people like him see Dumbledore as the most brilliant student to have ever attended, or to have ever attended to school. Dumbledore, when he comes to Hogwarts, he was a perfect student, a brilliant student. He was one of the best, maybe the best they ever saw. He was a genius of his time. He was prefect during his 5th year in school, and the head boy in his 7th year in school. So he was brilliant. Everybody was, seeing him as, looking up to him. He was just a genius and brilliant. And he has a lot of people like Elphias Dutch, who was his friend, who sees sees Albus Dumbledore just from the beginning on as this brilliant genius student, who is such a powerful magician. Here we see Dumbledore again when he's older, and the time Harry meets him. And here we see his brother Aberforth. Again, he had a younger brother named Aberforth. It's another picture of him, of Aberforth Dumbledore. And here we see his younger sister, Ariana Dumbledore. And yeah, we have to speak about Ariana at first, I would say. Because Ariana's life has a lot of to do with the tragedy of Dumbledore's past life, you can say. So what happened to Ariana, or what's up with Ariana? Ariana was when she was young, when a wizard is young, he cannot really control his magical powers. But they just broke out of children who can use magic. You know, they just broke out, and then they see, oh, okay, he has magical abilities, so we sent him to school that he can control his powers, or that he or she can control his powers. And when Ariana was 6 years old, I think it was around 6 years old, she, her powers broke out, and you know, it's a good sign in a wizard family, because then you can use magic. That's good. Then you can go to school and, you know, be it's honorful for the family. It's, you know, it's bad when you are come from a wizard family and cannot use magic, because then you are Skip, and Skip are not really well seen in the magical world. So it's a good thing if magic breaks free, you can say, because then they see, okay, good, our kids have magical powers, especially in a wizard family, and that's good. And then she can use magic and go to school and be a wizard, you know. But when she was 6 years old and her abilities breaks free, there were muggle boys, 3 or even more, saw this, that she can do things, just like magical things, and they want to see which trick she used to make it. And she couldn't show it to them. Ariana couldn't show it to the muggle boys what she did, because she doesn't even know what she did. But the muggle boys want to know it, and they even treated her so over a limit, you can say, and treat her bad. And she couldn't show it. She doesn't know what she was doing, you know, and the Muggles doesn't really understand it. So they treated her. They want to know it, and treated her over the limit, you can say. And this makes Ariana sadly, after that happened, she doesn't want even to use magic anymore, because she had such a bad memory of what happened to her when she was 6. So she doesn't even want to use magic anymore. She just tried to stop using magic, but it cannot happen, because she has magic. But they treated her over the limit. She couldn't even handle it anymore, and since then she sees magic as bad and tries to stop it, you know, and was really not healthy anymore, and couldn't handle her magic anymore, and doesn't want to have something to do with it. So the family, of course, then finds out after the Muggle boys who hurts her, and her father, Albus Dumbledore's father, and Ariana's father, and Aberforth's father, Percival, searched for revenge against the Muggle boys because of what they did to his daughter. So he became arrested for attacking the Muggle boys, and lived and died after this attack in Azkaban, in the wizard. So he was imprisoned in Azkaban, and so that's even kind of tragic. And they don't want to show the world what happened, or they don't want to that other people figure out what happened to Ariana, because they know if they figure it out, and that Ariana couldn't control her magic anymore, and she would come to the San Mungo hospital, most likely, or something like that, and she would be always kind of dangerous for the magical world, because the Muggles, when she cannot control her powers, the Muggles can find out that about the magical world, and that cannot happen. So she had to be always it always had to be kept secret, that Ariana couldn't control her powers, that what happened to Ariana. So they kept Ariana herself, the family kept the secret, because they don't want that Ariana were taken to San Mungo, and they in a magical clinic her whole life, because as I said, she would always be kind of dangerous for the magical world, because the Muggle can find out about the world if someone cannot control the magical powers of himself. So so they kept it secret, and she wasn't even sent to Hogwarts. Her brothers Albus and Aberforth were sent to Hogwarts, but not Ariana, because she couldn't control it. And then later on, when Albus finished school, his mother Kendra died, because Ariana, she was 14 at that time, was angry and had no control about her magical powers. And as it was always in her case the case. And she killed her mother Kendra by an accident. So she couldn't control it. And that was about the time when Albus finished school, and he wanted to go, for example, with Elphias Dutch, one of his friends, and travel around the world. And then he wanted to get higher and higher, and a higher and higher position in the magical world, because he was such a genius, and he was going after power, you can say. But when that happened, he couldn't leave his family. When Kendra died, Albus was the only adult there, young adult, so he had to stay there in Godric's Hollow and be there for his younger sister and his younger brother, who was around 16 at the time, and haven't finished school. And Albus was around 18 at that time, and he finished school with 17. They finished school, And yeah, he was very young also, but he was an adult. He had to care about his younger sister Ariana and Aberforth, but more of his younger sister Ariana, because again she had that kind of mentally unhealthiness, I don't know how to say it better, but so he had to care about Ariana. And yeah, Albus was more like, okay, I have to do it. I have to look after them even if he doesn't really want to, because he had other things in mind when he was young, He wanted to go into the world, and he was known as the most genius and brilliant student for a lot of people. He wants to make something out of it, you can say, and be someone. And yeah, he had to look for his younger siblings, for his younger brother and sister. Yeah. So he had to look after them, and his sister Ariana had no control about the magic, and she had to be cared, and he had to be she had to be cared of all the time. So Dumbledore have to care of Ariana all the time, because it has to be kept. He has to keep that secret, and hide it from society, and hide Ariana from society. Otherwise, she had to go, as I said, to San Mungo as a threat for her whole life, and be a patient there. Albus, as I said, doesn't really had an interested, was not really interested in it, and but he sees that he had to do it. Yeah, especially, I have written it even down. When she was 6 years old, Ariana was attacked by 3 Muggle boys. After that, she doesn't want to have magic, but she had magic and she couldn't control it. That makes her sometimes dangerous, but you have to know that's because she couldn't control herself. Not because she wants to be dangerous. Just sometimes she couldn't control her emotions and her magic. And when she was 14 again, I show the picture of her again because we speak about her. When she was 14, she accidentally killed her mother, Kendra, because she was causing an explosion with her magic, and that killed Kendra. So Ariana died in the same year as Kendra, and how that happened, we talk about it right now. So let's talk about Ariana's death. Ariana was born in around 1885, and she died in 1899, like her mother. Ariana was 14 at that time. And how does it happen? First of all, here we have a picture. We have to talk about Dumbledore and another person, about Gellert Grindelwald. Gellert Grindelwald was also a young, brilliant, very intelligent, very powerful wizard. He comes not from Hogwarts. he was, or the school where Gellert Grindelwald went was Durmstrang. And why does he came to Godric's Hollow? Because when he were living before, like the Dumbledores in Godric's Hollow, he were sent to Hogwarts too. So why does he go there? Because in Godric's Hollow there lived Bathilda Bagshot. I have even a picture of her. Where do we have it? Here. That's Bathilda Bagshot when she was older. But Bathilda Bagshot is the I have to look. I think great aunt from Gellert. Yeah, I think it was the great aunt from Gellert Grindelwald. And Gellert Grindelwald, you see him here in a picture with the young Albus. Also, the young Gellert Grindelwald went to Numengrad, or the school is called Numengrad. It's a school like Hogwarts. Here you see a painting of the young Gellert Grindelwald, and he was a brilliant student like Albus Dumbledore, a real genius, very powerful wizard. But he was also interested in dark magic and cruel spells, and he were even making very dark experiments there, and that's why he doesn't finish school. He was sent out of Numengrad for his bad behavior, for making these bad experiments and cruel experiments, and he was also a very clever, intelligent, brilliant wizard, but interested in dark magic, interested in even when it is cruel, he was making very hard experiments. So he was sent out of school, and he went to Godric's Hollow because he couldn't stay there, and so he went to his great aunt Bathilda Bagshot. Here we see Bathilda Bagshot. So he came to Godric's Hollow to live with her. He was there 2 months in 1899, and at that time he becomes a friend of Dumbledore immediately when he went there, because they were both brilliant. Dumbledore doesn't really wanted to stay at home. He wanted to show his brilliance and speak with people who are like he is. And Grindelwald was that. Grindelwald was also brilliant. He could understand some of Dumbledore's thought, and they had a lot in common, even though Dumbledore was not so interested in the dark magical stuff or in cruelty things. But they were both brilliant, they were both powerful, they were both magicians, and they spoke a lot of powerful magicians, and they spoke a lot of about the magical world and how they could change it, and they spoke even a lot about the so-called Deathly Hallows, and think it's a true story, or it's a fairy tale, but it's based on true things, and wanted to go after the Deathly Hallows. But we come to it later on, and they had a lot of views about the world, and Gellert wanted to change the world, wanted to show the Muggles that the magical world, and want to take it over, because he said, why do we have to live in why do we have to keep it secret? We are magicians. The Muggles can work for us, and we should be there. We should rule with all the powers we have. We should rule the world, you can say, and they can live, and we should build a new society, with our powers, with maybe the powers of the Deathly Hallows too, and build a new society where the magical people can live freely in this world, and doesn't have to keep themselves live in secret from the Muggles, and take over the world. They wanted to kind of take over the world and make a new had own philosophies, you can say, how the world has to function, and even when something is between them and their goals, Grindelwald often speaks, for the higher case, it's okay to do that. For the higher case, it's okay to do that. And there you see a little bit difference from Dumbledore, and what means a little bit, but there is a difference between Dumbledore's view and Grindelwald's view, because Grindelwald was like, for the higher case, for the better case, for all people, we can, he accepted to do cruel things. And Dumbledore even wrote a letter to him. It's just acceptable if it's necessary and there's no other way. Then it's acceptable maybe to do something to make it happen for the higher case, but not to be. He doesn't want to be cruel just when it's necessary and there's no other way. Then we have to do it. And Gellert Grindelwald was, no, if something is between our higher case, our higher goal for the whole society, who is the benefit for the whole society, if that happened, we even can be cruel and can destroy it, whatever it is that it's in our way, you can say. For the higher case, we can do it. So there you see how they are. And Gellert Grindelwald also was, he was more for the, how can I say it, for the pure blood magical wizards, and he even said I doesn't mean we have to kill the Muggles, but they can work for us, but they just as they can work for us like animals, like a cow produced milk, like they can work for us. And Albus was more different. He also doesn't want to has also kind of, in a way, this philosophy, because he wants to build a new world and doesn't want to always be live in secret. But Grindelwald goes too far, you can say, in a way. He just wants to destroy everything that's in their way, and with his things later, who even took later Lord Voldemort, like the pure bloods and stuff like that. That was not so Dumbledore's philosophy. More like we don't have to live in secret, and we should live our way. And yeah, he had for the higher goal we have to do necessary things, but not like being cruel or kill immediately everything that's in our way. Just when there's no way we can handle it, then we could do it, but not otherwise. So there was kind of difference in their views, but difference. But they were both brilliant people, and they're both look up after each other, and had their ideas, and some were even the same. For they had an higher goal or an better world in their minds, even it was there was a difference between their philosophies. Here we have a picture from Gellert Grindelwald, how he's there portrayed by, I have to look for the names always. There, Gellert Grindelwald, he looks like here, like he is when it's about Albus Dumbledore's past in the movies, where Dumbledore is portrayed by Toby Rector, and Grindelwald there is portrayed by, as you can see here, by Jamie Campbell Bower. Jamie Campbell Bower portrayed the young Grindelwald. You see him here. And yeah. But we want to talk about a moment. Yes, so we want to talk about, now let's talk about Ariana's death. So what happened in 1899? So, and it's most likely, that's why I have to talk about Gellert Grindelwald too. It's most likely about, in the beginning, the relationship between Albus Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald. So they were talking about, how to change the world, how they take the world over. They had their own philosophies. And Aberforth, it starts with Aberforth, who confronted his brother Albus because Ariana couldn't go with them. And that means Gellert Grindelwald and Albus Dumbledore want to go over the world and search for the Deathly Hallows, for example, and take the world over. And they had great ideas, And he said, no, Ariana, you have to look after Ariana, after your younger sister. You cannot do something with Grindelwald. You have to look after your sister, your younger sister. So Aberforth confronted Albus. From the age, you can say Albus was 18 years old, or kind of about 18 years old at the time. Aberforth was like 16 years old, and Gellert was around 17. So Albus should stop the plans with Gellert Grindelwald. So Aberforth confronted him. He should stop the plans with Gellert Grindelwald to make a revolution and take over the wizard world. So Albus should stay and look for and take care for his younger sister Ariana. Grindelwald said he wouldn't understand their plans. And as Aberforth doesn't stop to insist, and Grindelwald said, you are the young brother, we are the geniuses, you cannot understand our plans. And then but Aberforth insisted and said, no, you have to stop your plans, Albus, you have to look after our younger sister. Grindelwald was angry about it because he wanted to go, and they had great plans and wanted to go with Albus and take over the world. Grindelwald had no understanding for Aberforth's behavior. So Grindelwald used the forbidden curse, one of the forbidden curses, the Cruciatus curse, against Aberforth. So yeah, Grindelwald attacked Albus' younger brother, and you have to know, Albus and Grindelwald, they were not only friends, they were best friends, and even J.K. Rowling said it, and you see it even in the movies a little bit. There was kind of, Albus had, it came not so in the main book story. It wasn't said there or in the main movie series, but in the Fantastic Beasts movie series, and J.K. Rowling in some interviews said even that there was, Albus had romantical feelings for Gellert Grindelwald, and so Albus was gay, you can say. He was gay and had romantic, or he is gay, J.K. said in one interview, and he had romantical feelings for Gellert Grindelwald, and that's why he was blind for his kind of cruel and bad views. And it makes the whole situation even more intense when they are not only best friends, when there's even kind of a romantical relationship, more for Albus than for Gellert. So Grindelwald attacked Aberforth, Albus' younger brother, and Albus tries to defend his brother for Gellert, and Aberforth just saw I'm attacked by Gellert, by my brother's best friend, so he attacked also Albus and Gellert, you can say. And Albus had to protect himself from Aberforth and attacked kind of Gellert, because Gellert attacked Aberforth, and Gellert fights, that's how the conflict started. He fights against Aberforth, and then he had to fight against Albus too. So there was a duel between these three wizards, and it has to be a very powerful magical, had to be or it was, you can say, most likely very magical, very powerful duel, or a duel on a very high magical level, you can say, because Grindelwald and Albus are such brilliant wizards, and Aberforth, he's also a strong wizard, and he's more the kind of guy, he's strong in a duel, he's the kind of person who's not so maybe good in the sensible ways of magic, more, but he is more than enraged and attacks people, you can say, and he's also magical powerful on a duel, I would say. And so it was on a very high level, a magical duel between these three wizards. And So the three magicians attacked each other, were dueling each other and everybody against everybody, you can say. Even Albus tries to protect his siblings, tries to protect Aberforth. And why I said his siblings, because Ariana came in the room and came in the room because she doesn't know what's going on. She just saw the lights and stuff and doesn't know that they are dueling. Just hears the noise, the voices, and goes and look what happened. They saw all the lights and stuff like that. And then one of the curses of the duel killed Ariana by an accident. And that's how Ariana died in 1899. Here we see another picture of Albus and Grindelwald. And here you see the romantical kind of in the Fantastic Beast movies, kind of romantical part of this relationship. You see like a little few, you can say, in the Fantastic Beast series. Again, pictures of Gellert and Albus portrayed by Toby Ragbow and Jamie Campbell-Bower. Here you see them when they are older. Here is Albus portrayed by Jude Law and Gellert by Johnny Depp. I have to look for it. So Ariana died in 1899 from one of the curses of the three who were dueling each other. Nobody knows which curse killed Ariana. So which of the three actually killed Ariana? It could be everybody. And so that was it then from the relationship from Albus and Grindelwald. And to go back of how it was before, they wanted to have the Deathly Hallows to change, to get the power with them to change the magical world. And they play a big role in the magical world and in the Harry Potter series too, and also in the life of Albus Dumbledore. Here we have the sign of the three Deathly Hallows, the Elder Wand, the powerful magical ward, the Resurrection Stone. With that stone you can bring dead people back to life, and the Cloak of Invisibility, where you can, if you put it on, you be invisible. That are the three Deathly Hallows. But you have to say they were not so interested in the Elder Wand and not so interested in the Cloak of Invisibility. They were more interested in the Resurrection Stone and in the Elder Wand, because with them they can get power. And the Cloak of Invisibility, they don't need that to be invisible. Dumbledore and Grindelwald were such brilliant wizards. They can make themselves invisible. They don't need the cloak for it. So Grindelwald most likely wanted to have the Resurrection Stone to make an army of Inferi. Inferi are dead people who who are cursed to fight, most likely. So he wanted to have with the Resurrection Stone, Grindelwald wanted to have an army, you can say. And with the Elder Wand, he wanted to have power, just power. And yeah, they are very interested in that. Here we see the sign of the Deathly Hallows with the story of how it is in the book of Beetle the Bard, with the three brothers who wanted to go over the water and build a bridge, and the death came and give them, because they were so clever, the three Deathly Hallows. And yeah, with the first brother the Elder Wand, the second the Resurrection Stone, and the third the Cloak of Invisibility. And he, of course, the death wanted to have their souls. So the first died because the Elder Wand, they other wizards notice he's so strong because of his wand. So he died. One slit his throat when he was asleep or something, to get the Elder Wand. And the other one with the Resurrection Stone, the second son, takes back or brings back someone he loved, or a woman he loved before, and who was dead. But she was more dead than alive. She was alive, but she was dead before. So she cannot really be with her mind alive too, So she killed herself, and then the second son killed himself to be with her. And so he gets the two souls. Just the third brother with his Cloak of Invisibility, the death couldn't find him. And when he was ready to die, he gave it back to his younger son, the Cloak of Invisibility, and died as an old and happy man. Or he had a long life. He lived long enough, and so he had no problem to die. That's the story how it is told in Beetle the Bard. Even you can say Gellert, Grindelwald, and Albus doesn't really believed in the story, or doesn't have to believe in the story of Beetle the Bard. They more believed, okay, they exist, and there were these people who had them, but that doesn't mean that the death had to give them the artifacts. It could also be like they exist just these powerful magical artifacts, But they believed in the Deathly Hallows, in the artifacts. So Ariana was killed when in 1899, when Grindelwald was there for 2 months, or 2 months in Godric's Hollow together with Albus. And then Grindelwald fled from the scene. Why does he flee from the scene? Because he had some cases, because of what he did in Durmstrang and in his school before in Durmstrang, or even he did even before some dark magical experiments, or some cruel experiments also. So people, he had already, they give him already the red card, you can say. He was, they already looked after Grindelwald, well, because of what he did, He doesn't need more trouble, so he fled from the scene. He doesn't want to be involved in Ariana's death and what happened. He just fled, and I cannot. He just see it otherwise it would be more trouble for him, because he did even dark experiments and things who were bad seen by the society, and he even gets the red card, you can say. And if that happened also to him if he gets involved with a thing like what happened to Ariana. He would be, seen more like a bad magician, and maybe, he had a lot of bad stuff done before, so he couldn't, be involved in that case too, you can say. So Ariana died because of one of the spells of one of them three. Nobody knows which one. It could be anybody. Yeah. So Grindelwald left. He was kicked out of Durmstrang before, as I said, because of his dark magical experiments. Yeah. Doesn't want to have something to do with it. Albus and Aberforth. Aberforth was born, by the way, in 1883 or around 1883, 1884. He was around 16 years old at the time. They were shocked. Albus and Aberforth were just shocked by Ariana's death. And at her funeral, at Ariana's funeral, Aberforth punched his brother in the face so that his nose broke. Albus never fixed it because he felt guilty. He felt guiltiness about what happened to Ariana and doesn't defend himself. Yeah. And it was that accident that happened and the things that happened to his family, especially Ariana's dad, and that he didn't saw what Grindelwald really was, what Grindelwald really was, that he, the dark and cruel and bad things he did later on too. But especially, of course, the accident with Ariana, they were, this were a thing, or these things were stuff like that. Even the old Albus Dumbledore, even when he died, that were things that were, big in his head, and he felt guilty about what happened his whole life. His whole life he felt guilty what happened to Ariana. His whole life. And that we see in the next picture. And also I want to say the pictures we saw, we saw before pictures of Ariana, and now we see here a picture of Ariana. There are pictures from the portrait of Ariana, how it is in the movies. So she was 14 in the time of the pictures, and so and when she died too. It all happened in 1899. I have to always talk a lot, or even maybe I repeat a lot, but it's really a lot of going on here, and especially, he had such a big life. It's important to know, I think, the when what happened, to see it in a timeline here. Here, it's nearly by Albus, from the 6th movie, when he died, or before he died, he takes a poisoned drink from Lord Voldemort, because he had to do it to that he and Harry get to the next Horcrux. And that poisoned drink was, then in his head he see his biggest fears and biggest, baddest dreams, and when he takes it, he recapitulates, or he sees this scene back in 1899 again, so much it hurts him what happened back then, that even before his death he felt guilty about what happened. And when he takes the poisonous drink, and there he sees his baddest memories he had, and this was his baddest memories. And he said then, because he couldn't control himself when he drank that poison drink, just Harry Potter saw it. He said, doesn't do something to them. And Harry Potter even later on, when he finds out about Dumbledore's story, he knows what was in Dumbledore's mind at that time. He, in his mind, was he was back then in what happened in 1899 in the duel, and was just shocked what Grindelwald did, that he attacked his siblings. And Albus was just saying, don't do something to them, leave them alone, please leave them alone. So as I said, they were best friends. He had romantical feelings for Gellert Grindelwald, and they were both geniuses. Gellert could understand Albus as no other could possibly do it at that time. But when he attacked his siblings, it was all over, and he see his true nature, you can say. And he said he just wanted to protect Aberforth and Ariana for Gellert Grindelwald at this point of time. So he said, don't do anything to them, leave them, please leave them. He just want to keep Aberforth and Ariana safe. And he he always felt guilty for what happened to Ariana, and he always had, how can I say it, had these even said to him, I don't know how to say it in other words, I miss a word right now, he even always say to himself, you did this failure, you did this fault, it's your fault that Ariana's dead. That was also always in his mind. So he all his life he felt guilty of what happened to Ariana, and that Gellert attacked his brother Aberforth, and with that Ariana, there was breaks out the duel, and Ariana was dead. He never, he always felt guilty for that. And because of the guiltiness Albus felt, he feel like even though he was extraordinary good and a brilliant magician, that power is his weakness. And he said he was even at the end of his, or even when Harry Potter speaks to him in the limbo later on, when he was dead, he said, it was safer for me to be a teacher in Hogwarts and work there. And so he said he was safer, or he goes safer with being a teacher in Hogwarts, or he was a teacher in Hogwarts and worked there his whole life as a teacher, than to get on a high position, than to become the Minister of Magic, even though he was offered, for instance, in the 1960s, more than one time, people offered him the position of Minister of Magic, several times, but he turned down the offer every time, because he said, power is my weakness, I'm safer here as a teacher in Hogwarts. And he worked there his whole life as a teacher, as a professor. All the teachers in Hogwarts are professors. So his whole life he was there, and he started as a professor and worked his whole life in Hogwarts. And what kind of professor he was? He was in the 1910s. He was the professor in defense against the dark arts in the 1910s, and you can see it in the Fantastic Beast series. Here's again a picture of Grindelwald and Albus. You can see it in the Fantastic Beast series. Yeah. So here you see again Gellert Grindelwald, or here you see more Gellert Grindelwald, but yeah, it's another picture of seeing how their relationship was with Albus. Here you see him in a backstory and how it is in Fantastic Beasts, and there even they make magically they swear each other to not fight against each other, and in the Fantastic Beasts movie series, Albus has to break free from it to face Gellert Grindelwald. But we come to it later on. Here I have another picture with the 3 Deathly Hallows with the Elder Wand, in the middle in the picture with the Resurrection Stone on the left and the Cloak of Invisibility on the right side. Here it's the tale of the 3 brothers, again with the magical sign, what stands for what. The first line for the Elder Wand, and the middle for the Resurrection Stone, and to sum it all up, you can say the Cloak of Invisibility. That's how the sign worked. And here we have them one by one. The Elder Wand here, the Resurrection Stone, how they look in the movies, and the Cloak of Invisibility. Together they are the Deathly Hallows. These 3. So I even started what happened to Dumbledore. He started, after that he goes for a career as a professor in Hogwarts. But before even that happened, let's go but what means before that happened? Let's go through it one by one. Gellert Grindelwald, after he fled from being involved in Ariana's death, he goes for the Deathly Hallows, especially for the Elder Wand, and he gets even the Elder Wand from a man who makes magical wands from Gregorovich, a man called Gregorovich, and he had that special wand. I don't know if he even knows that it was a Deathly Hallow, but Grindelwald steals it from him and gets the power of the Elder Wand. Here you see him, how he steals the Elder Wand, the Deathly Hallow. And now we come to Dumbledore, how he is seen in the Fantastic Beasts series. So at a young age, when he was portrayed by Toby Ragborough, it's mainly about, if we speak about this age, or if we see him back then, it's mainly about that what happened when he meets Grindelwald in these 2 months. And yeah, in 1899. And yeah, so then he began later. He goes for a career as a professor. Here we see him as a professor, portrayed by Jude Law. Yeah, that's Newt Scamander, the main protagonist of the, or you can say the main protagonist of the Fantastic Beasts series. He even writes the book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, what Harry Potter later learns with that book from Newt Scamander. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like the series is called. And when Newt Scamander was young, in the 1910s, Albus Dumbledore was the professor in defense against the dark arts, and that was mainly because he knows that by one time he had to face Gellert Grindelwald, and so even as a professor you teach other students, but you also can learn by yourself more and learn more about it to bring it young students to show it them better, or to if you know it better, your students, even you can explain it better, you can show it to them better, and you can teach it to them better. And so he had also own reasons to make the job defense professor in defense against the dark arts, because he knows maybe I have to face Gellert Grindelwald, or he knows I probably will face Gellert Grindelwald, or have to face Gellert Grindelwald, because he becomes more and more powerful, and so I have to know, he was brilliant, he was a genius, but I want to know more about, or will go in deeper in defense against the dark arts, and so becomes the professor in defense against the dark arts. So in his 1910s, here we see again Albus Dumbledore portrayed by Jude Law, and Gellert portrayed by Johnny Depp. Here we see Gellert with the Elder Wand portrayed by Johnny Depp. And here we see Jude Law as a professor on Hogwarts. And the magical world, when Gellert becomes more and more powerful, the magical world wants that Albus Dumbledore goes in, because they know he's maybe the only one who can stop him. Or he's the only one who can stop him. So please, Albus, come and help us and take out Grindelwald. Because Grindelwald is powerful, he had a Deathly Hallow, he's also a genius, genius dark magician. And they can say want Albus to help them. They even want that Albus becomes the minister of several times, They really scream for him, you can say, or want that Albus helps him, because they know how brilliant and how good and how powerful Albus Dumbledore is. So they want that Albus helps them. And here we see Albus as a professor in defense against the dark arts. So he had to face Gellert Grindelwald in one time, and he faced him. In 1945 he faced him, and wins a duel against Gellert Grindelwald, and from that point on the Elder Wand goes to Albus Dumbledore. So he had the Elder Wand. But yeah. And it was a very famous duel. Some said the famous and the most powerful duel of all times. The duel from Dumbledore against Grindelwald. And Dumbledore wins, and Grindelwald was imprisoned. Not in Azkaban, somewhere else. I forgot where. Maybe I have it in my... Maybe I write it down. I have to look for it. But he wins, and the magical world were freed from Grindelwald, and yeah, Dumbledore gets the Elder Wand from that duel. The duel was on 1945. And it's pretty interesting because, yeah, Gellert Grindelwald, it's like in the real world, you can say, or he and his movement is like in the real world, the Nazis, you know. They, on 1945, it ended. And Gellert Grindelwald was stopped as the Nazis were in our real world. So the Elder Wand goes to Dumbledore. Dumbledore, you have to say, here we see him in his 1940s or here we see him at the age of 1938. That's a memory from the Harry Potter movies we see here, or he has a memory from the Harry Potter movies from 1938. And at that time he was the professor in Transfiguration. So, you know, he was first in 1910 he were the professor of Defense Against the Dark Arts, and in 1938, in the 1930s, or at that time he was the professor of Transfiguration. And why we see him in 1938 here? Why at that time? Because that's from a memory. Harry and Dumbledore sees a memory from Albus, and it was very important because it's about the young Tom Riddle, or when he sees Tom Riddle for the first time in 1938, and Tom Riddle, later known as Lord Voldemort, becomes, yeah, a dark magician like Gellert Grindelwald, even more powerful. So really you can say Dumbledore, Voldemort, and Grindelwald were the powerful magicians for a long time. You know, they were exceptionally powerful, more than a normal good student. You know, more than Hermione knows a lot of magic, for example, or stuff like that. But they were like over the top. You know, they were like so powerful. You cannot beat them. Or they were, yeah, not normal, you can say. Geniuses or people like them who are so powerful are not always coming out. You know, Dumbledore and Lord Voldemort and Grindelwald were really exceptionally powerful and brilliant. Even though Gellert Grindelwald and Voldemort brilliant in a cruel way more. And here we see Dumbledore goes to the house where Orphan lives, where he finds Tom Riddle. Here we see him speak to Tom Riddle, and Tom Riddle finds out about his magical powers, and yeah, was sent to Hogwarts from Dumbledore again, Dumbledore was the professor of transfiguration at that time in Hogwarts. And yeah, he doesn't know what Tom Riddle will be. He always kind of suspected him at his school time, but yeah, he doesn't know, how can I say it? Nobody knows, of course, at that time what Tom Riddle would be later on. Tom Riddle, later known as Lord Voldemort. Here we see Tom Riddle when he was 16, and Harry Potter when he goes in the second book in the Chamber of Secrets in the book memories of Tom Riddle, of the 16-year-old Tom Riddle, and sees what happened there. It's the 16-year-old Tom Riddle in the middle. It rhymes, yeah. And you can say by all that time, Dumbledore was the professor of transfiguration. Very interesting is that he was, at that time, it was on 1938, where he meets Tom Riddle for the first time, but he beats Gellert Grindelwald on 1945. So there were, doesn't, so yeah, it was a big, kind of, long time when it really comes to the duel of Dumbledore and Grindelwald. There were, it was a lot of teasing, because even in the 1910s, Grindelwald gets more and more powerful, and all the stuff like in the Fantastic Beast movie series, it's in the 1920s, you can say, the first movies maybe, and so it takes a long time, because even at that time the world speaks about Grindelwald, and that Dumbledore had to stop Grindelwald. Grindelwald was not only in Great Britain, he was over the world. He was known as a dark magician and wanted to take over the whole world, and a lot of people knows that Albus is the only person who can beat him. So it takes a lot of time there, when even in the 1910s or 1920s, they are saying you have to stop Grindelwald, or Grindelwald had to be stopped. And in 1945 they fight, so it's over 20 years that the fight was teased, you can say. And why does it take so long? You have to know Gellert Grindelwald at that time. The duel between Albus and Gellert Grindelwald is known as and Grindelwald had the Elder Wand at that time, who is known by the society in this time as the most famous and powerful, or the most, the most powerful duelist and famous duelist. And Gellert Grindelwald himself is known as by the society in this time as the most famous and powerful, darkest dark magician after Voldemort, or who came out, you can say, as a dark magician later on. After the duel, as I said, Albus gets the Elder Wand, one of the Deathly Hallows, and so even after the battle, he's always the professor of transfiguration, and because he's for such a long time a professor and works in Hogwarts. He had a lot of students. So for a lot of adult magicians, then he was their teacher. So he had a special relationship to a lot of people back then, and a lot of people admired him for being so powerful. And as I said, he was a teacher. He knows them by their names. In the 1960s, in the late 1960s, he's becoming the headmaster of Hogwarts, like he is when Harry Potter comes to Hogwarts, So in the 1960s, around the late 1960s, or around the 1960s in general, he becomes the headmaster of Hogwarts. As I said, in 1938, he meets Tom Riddle for the first time, aka Lord Voldemort. In 1943, it was the first opening of the Chamber of Secrets. There, Lord Voldemort opened it, and he was 16 back then. So in 1943, Lord Voldemort opened the Chamber of Secrets. He was 16 back then, and Rubeus Hagrid was, punished for it, because even Dumbledore doesn't believe it, or didn't believe it, and Lord Tom Riddle opened the Chamber of Secrets. Rubeus Hagrid was punished for it. In 1945, Dumbledore defeated Gellert Grindelwald. I just repeated it because you see there the timeline better now. Dumbledore was then awarded, after the duel, Dumbledore was then awarded the Order of Merlin First Class from Leonard Spencer Moon, who was the Minister of Magic. Okay, let's carry on. So, sorry, I have to recapitulate it again a little bit to get for the timeline, because I had some of my own stuff to do, and otherwise I will be taken out for it. So in 1938, Dumbledore meets Tom Riddle for the first time. In 1948, it was the first opening of the Chamber of Secrets. Like, the second book of Harry Potter was the second one, and the first opening was in 1943. And the Chamber of Secrets was opened by Tom Riddle, later known as Lord Voldemort, or who. In 1945, Dumbledore defeated Gellert Grindelwald. Why? It was a legendary duel. Some say the best and powerful duel of all times, and famous. Dumbledore was afraid of the duel. That's why it takes so long that it happened. Dumbledore was then awarded the order. Dumbledore was then awarded after the duel. Dumbledore was then awarded the Order of Merlin First Class from Leonard Spencer Moon. And this Leonard Spencer Moon was the president, or the Minister of Magic from 1939 to 1948. As I said, in the 1960s, he became the headmaster of Hogwarts. In the 1970s, Lord Voldemort Tom Riddle's powers grow and grow, and so on in the 1970s was the in the 1970s was the foundation of the Order of Phoenix. And the first foundation of the Order of Phoenix, you see here the picture of it, and it was founded, or the founder of the Order of the Phoenix is Albus Dumbledore. So he builds this group against Lord Voldemort and his Death Eaters, you can say. Yeah, because in the 1960s, Lord Voldemort's was Lord Voldemort's first rise to power, you can say, with his followers, the Death Eaters. And yeah. And before I carried on, here you see again the picture of the first Order of the Phoenix, you can say, with Harry Potter's parents and Harry's odd parent Sirius and Black and James Potter and Lily Potter and Peter Pettigrew and the Longbottoms, parents of Neville and Hagrid and Aberforth and the professors, the later house teachers, Flitwick. I think Flitwick and Sprout. I'm not sure if they. No, but McGonagall was for sure in the Order of Phoenix, and Snape. Later on, Snape. At first he was on Voldemort's side. We come later to Snape and Voldemort. Before I will go on with all what happened then, I want to say again one thing about the duel of Dumbledore and Gellert Grindelwald. And that's why Dumbledore was afraid of Grindelwald. You can say of his powers, but that was not the reason behind it. So Albus was not afraid because of the duel itself, because he was not afraid of Grindelwald's magical powers and abilities so much. He feared Grindelwald because of the romantical and special, they were best friends, but it was kind of romantical too, as I said in the beginning, of their special relationship they had. So he was afraid of that. But more even than that, and especially he feared Grindelwald and the duel, because Grindelwald could potentially reveal that Dumbledore's magical curse, that Dumbledore's magical spell killed his younger sister, Ariana, in fact, so that he was the one that actually killed Ariana. And that's the thing he most feared. And his Dumbledore's Bogart, when it comes to Bogarts, I said some things about what Harry Potter and Hermione and Dumbledore most feared, because Bogarts, it's always the thing what you most feared, you see there. And Dumbledore's, or the thing where Dumbledore is most scared of, or that he most feared, is he sees always Ariana's dead body then. And of course he felt guilty, and he has so much fear that he could be potentially the one who killed her, It could be anybody, but nobody knows who actually did the act of the spell of killing her, and he was so afraid of it. That's why it takes so long for Dumbledore to fight against Grindelwald, because he had so much fear, so much guiltiness in himself that he could be the one who killed her. So now we can carry on. So in the 1960s, Voldemort rise to power, and Lord Voldemort wanted the position. He even wanted before to become a teacher in Hogwarts, and especially the teacher, the professor. He wanted to be the professor for defense against the dark arts. He didn't get the job because Dumbledore, he becomes, it was one of, again in the 1960s, he becomes the headmaster. So he becomes the headmaster right before Voldemort comes in for the second time, because even when Voldemort finished school, he wanted to stay in school, but they said, it just, if you wanted it after years, you want to go back to school, then you can ask again, but first of all, you have to make some experience, or he had to make some experiences, and then he can come again. The headmaster before was Amando Dippet, and in the 1960s, Dumbledore became the headmaster, and Voldemort gets more and more powerful, and he wanted to have the job again, but he didn't get it because Dumbledore knows of his bad intentions and knows some of the bad things Voldemort and his Death Eaters did. And also Dumbledore never called him Lord Voldemort, always Tom, from Tom Riddle. So, but Voldemort doesn't like it, he doesn't want to be called Tom Riddle, he wants to be Voldemort, or who, and because of his bad intentions, Dumbledore sees the bad intentions of Voldemort and says, no, I know what you are trying to do, like that, that's not gonna happen. So Voldemort failed at this one, but he, from this point on, Dumbledore says no to Lord Voldemort to get the job for the professor of for the defense against the dark arts. From that point on, Voldemort, it was cursed to be the professor of in defense against the dark arts. Every professor was only for 1 year the professor of the subject, Then it was over. Just 1 year, and then it was over. No professor was longer teaching that subject longer than 1 year, because it was cursed by Voldemort. You can say he and his followers were looking that no one is longer the professor. It was cursed by Voldemort himself. In the 1960s also, Dumbledore finds out about Remus Lupin. The Remus Lupin of the Harry Potter books, of the series, a friend of, Sirius Black, James Potter, and Peter Pettigrew. So Dumbledore finds out about Remus Lupin being infected, being a werewolf, you can say, being infected by Fenrir Greyback, who wanted to infect as many as possible and turn them all into werewolves. And later, Fenrir Greyback worked together with Voldemort and the Death Eaters. Because Voldemort, it's in Voldemort's, is okay with that he infected as many as he could get. So, he was aware of Greyback and even the relationship between Fenrir Greyback and Lord Voldemort, you can say, or he finds later out of it. So Dumbledore helped Lupin and tried to stop Lord Voldemort with his followers and allies. I mean, Fenrir was an ally to Lord Voldemort, you can say, or later on. And so, yeah, he tries always to stop it. In the 1960s, also Severus Snape finds out about Remus' secret, and Dumbledore forbade Snape repeating it to anybody, to anyone. So Snape should keep the secret, you can say. Then we have the First Visiting War, and this war was from 1970. We have here the Order of Phoenix, who fought for one side. So the First Visiting War was from 1970 to 1981, and the only enemy, the only wizard who Voldemort was ever truly afraid of was Dumbledore, or is Dumbledore, how you want to say it. So that was the only one where Voldemort was afraid of. And Dumbledore fights with the Order of the Phoenix against Voldemort and his Death Eaters, who tries to take the magical world over their control. And you have to say they succeed even, but there was always the resistance around Dumbledore, his persona, and the Order of Phoenix. They were always in resistance against Voldemort and his followers and the new rules, you can say. So the first war was from 1970 to 1981. And in the First Visiting War, Sybil Trelawney, who is a person who wanted to be a professor in Hogwarts, makes a prophecy about the one who can defeat Lord Voldemort. Sybil wanted to work as the new professor of divination in Hogwarts. Dumbledore takes her, also she gets the job, more to protect her than for something else, because Dumbledore disliked this subject and are not convinced from her abilities. But she makes a prophecy, and he wanted to keep her safe from the Death Eaters and Lord Voldemort. And Dumbledore and Severus were the only two who heard this prophecy, and Snape taught it Lord Voldemort. And Dumbledore, he knows at that time that Snape spied. Yeah. So much to that. So again, as I said, the First Visiting War was until from 1970 to 1981. So on 1970, there was the foundation of the Order of the Phoenix and stuff like this. So how does the First Visiting War ended? With the death of the biggest enemy, you can say, of the magical world, the antagonist of the Harry Potter series. So with his it's not his real death, but his body was destroyed. So with Voldemort's so the First Visiting was from 1970 to 1981, and in 1981 his power Voldemort's power was away, his body was destroyed. How that happened? Because Snape was telling the prophecy to Voldemort. Voldemort thinks that Harry Potter is the chosen one, the one that Harry Potter will be the one who can beat him. he knows that Lily Potter and James Potter were getting a child in this specifically month, and who were set in the prophecy, and they were both from the Order of the Phoenix. So he thinks, yeah, this is the one who can bring me down. So he gets there and he kills James Potter, he kills Lily Potter, but then when he wanted to kill Harry Potter, he failed and his body gets destroyed and his power gets down, so he's out of power. And yeah, so then the Harry Potter kind of arc later on begins. That's the start of Harry Potter. So on 1981 it was over. Between the wars, because there was a second war in the Harry Potter books. Between the wars from 1981 to 1995, we speak about that time now. Yeah, 1981 was the fall of the Dark Lord. Dumbledore was there at the age of 100. And from 1981, you can say, to the Harry Potter, to the actual Harry Potter books and Harry Potter story. There's an own story, you can say, about the cursed walls in Hogwarts, about Jacob's siblings and Rowan Canner, etc., and so on and so on. It's not so well-known story, and I'm not so into that, I think it's from a game or from some side books and stuff like that. I'm not so into that story. Maybe I can go more into it in other videos. But yeah, then we come to the actual Harry Potter story. It begins in 1991 to 1992, Harry Potter's first year. And yeah, let's jump in to the main story, the Harry Potter books, or when the Harry Potter books begin. Okay, let's carry on. I need some breaks here. It's really a very long video. Harry Potter's first year was 1991 to 1992. And there he gets a present. You can see it here. A cloak who makes invisible. Guess what? It's a Deathly Hallow. Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because when Voldemort died, before he killed Harry's parents, they worked for the Order of Phoenix and they believed in Dumbledore and fight for him until their death. They were part of the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore. And James Potter talked to Dumbledore, or even Dumbledore, I don't know if he really talked to him or if some other people talked to him about that, but he finds out that James Potter had a cloak what makes him invisible and his friends, and that's why he could make so much like Fred and George, make so much do this so oft stuff against the rules and make so much bullshit, you can say, or he makes a lot of, goes for adventures with his friends, with Peter Pettigrew, Sirius Black, and Remus Lupin. And how often you can say how they could get away with it, or how they could go there, because first of all they had they made a card where they can see every step of other people's in Hogwarts or around Hogwarts, you can say. And the second thing is with this cloak, and Dumbledore, James Potter he just used the cloak, he doesn't really know, or we don't know if but most likely he doesn't even know what the cloak is. And Dumbledore was interested in it and asked James if he could get the cloak to study him. He just wants to find out what it is, and he finds out it's one of the Deathly Hallows, So Dumbledore had the Elder Wand from the duel with Grindelwald, and now he had also the Cloak of Invisibility. Sadly, James died. Or, he couldn't save them, or what. Nobody could save them when Voldemort knows where to go, and Dumbledore, of course, doesn't knows it. It has something to do with a secret with a friend. You tell that secret, and then nobody gets to you. Just if he gets the person who is magical. I don't know how it is called in English in the books, but who is magically bonded to the location, So he's the person who had the secret. And in James Potter's and Lily Potter's case, it was Peter Pettigrew. At first should be Sirius Black, but then it was Peter Pettigrew, a friend of James, but he betrayed them and goes over to Lord Voldemort because he had fear for them. And Lord Voldemort killed the parents, Harry Potter's parents, and was destroyed. His body was then destroyed from his own spell. And Dumbledore at that time, as I said, had the Cloak of Invisibility, and he gives it later in Harry's first year. He gives it over to Harry Potter because it was the cloak belongs to his father, and his father was dead, so Dumbledore gives it to Harry, and so Harry has back then he had one of the Deathly Hallows, the Cloak of Invisibility, and makes his stuff with Hermione and Ron. Now we come, and it's kind of linked, it's kind of, there's a bound between the story of Harry Potter and the beginning of Harry Potter, and how Dumbledore is kind of involved in that, like the and what happened to Harry Potter's parents. It's kind of linked in, or how can you say it, linked in or bounded with the story of Snape, because what's with Snape and Dumbledore? What was their plans? Snape finds out about the prophecy from Sybil Trelawney and told it Lord Voldemort. Lord Voldemort thinks Harry Potter is the one he should be afraid of, and goes for him and wanted to kill just Harry Potter, but Harry Potter's parents were in his way, so they had to die too. Snape was afraid of that because he was in love with Lily Potter, and he goes to Dumbledore and said, "You have to keep them safe. I want that Lily Potter is safe." But yeah, Lily Potter, of course, had a family, a son, and a husband, and he was just afraid for Lily because he was in love with Lily Potter, but because the whole family would be wiped out if Lord Voldemort finds out, and because of Lily loves her son, Harry. Snape said, I want that Lily is safe, but save them all. I do anything for you, anything. Just save them for Lord Voldemort. And yeah, Dumbledore couldn't do it because, as I said, because Peter Pettigrew betrayed them, and yeah, Dumbledore was too late, you can say. He couldn't do anything anymore for Harry Potter or Harry Potter's parents, but Harry Potter survived, but his parents are deaf. And when, you can say, the moment when Lord Voldemort goes to kill the Potters, and when he killed Lily Potter, Snape changed sides, but Lord Voldemort doesn't know it. He doesn't know that Snape had these feelings for Lily Potter. But Snape had it, and he changed sides then and said, okay, I was for Lord Voldemort, I was a Death Eater, I was for Lord Voldemort, I was kind of loyal to him and a follower, but he shouldn't kill Lily. And at that moment, he changed side and goes over to the only one who can face, who is powerful enough to face Lord Voldemort, to Dumbledore. Voldemort was destroyed back then, he had nobody. But yeah, Dumbledore takes Snape as a professor in Hogwarts and sees that he's really had true feelings for Lily and changed truly sides. And yeah, he let them work in Hogwarts as a professor there in defense against the dark arts in the year when Dumbledore died. We come to it later on, but before, in mixing magical, I don't know the word right now, but as a professor for magical, not rings, magical, but as a he was, since then Snape was there as a professor, worked as a professor in Hogwarts, and was working for Dumbledore. But Dumbledore said, you should be, Voldemort shouldn't know that, so Snape was never betraying Lord Voldemort, you can say. He was betraying Lord Voldemort, but was not showing it to the world. He was, following the orders of Dumbledore, you can say, at that point. And wants to take Lord Voldemort down for what he did to Lily and help Harry, even though he doesn't really like Harry Potter. He had more like the feelings for Harry as he had for Harry's father, James. So, but he kept Harry safe, and so on, Dumbledore and Harry were going after the Horcruxes. Here you see one of his invitations from the first movie. It's here a picture of Dumbledore, the Deluminator. It's one of the things Dumbledore created. Maybe I make video where I talk about the Deluminator. Here we see him as a headmaster when he makes a typical speech at the end or at the beginning of an half year, you can say, or of an Hogwarts year, of an school year. And as I said, Dumbledore and Harry, he kind of shows Harry what he has to do. He tries to teach him or bring him in the direction he can confront Lord Voldemort, you know. He tries to protect him, but bring him to the point where he can face Lord Voldemort, where he can face him. And he tries to go for, because he knows that Lord Voldemort was not really dead, or he thinks that he was not really dead, and so he goes for it. And then we have the story about Harry Potter and the Horcruxes, where Voldemort puts his soul in a Horcrux. And later Voldemort comes back. Here we see him again as when he makes a speech as a headmaster of Hogwarts. Later Lord Voldemort comes back around 1996. Voldemort comes back. 1995, 1996, you can say. And yeah, he puts, that's why he couldn't be killed with just destroying his body, because he takes his soul, and I spoke about it in other videos, and puts it into things. They are so-called Horcruxes. You can destroy him with basilisk poison, for example. What later you can destroy him with the Sword of Gryffindor, because he takes the poison as a strength, and then with the Sword of Gryffindor you can destroy the Horcruxes. And Dumbledore destroyed one of the 7. Dumbledore destroyed. Here we have Harry Potter again with his friends Hermione and Ron. And they are very, very much liking Dumbledore and following his advices, most likely. And they are, Dumbledore had, really liked Harry, and also Ron and Hermione, you can say. And here you see them under Harry, Hermione and Ron under the Cloak of Invisibility. And here you see Dumbledore and Harry looking for memories. I think that's from the 5th movie here. Even Dumbledore's own memories. Here you see him preventing Harry because he used magic, and not in Hogwarts, and that's not allowed for people who are not adults. So they cannot use magic in the Muggle world, just in Hogwarts, you know. And Dumbledore defends here Harry. So they have a very close relationship. Here we see Harry, and in the back Snape. Here we see Albus again. And that's interesting because he's holding the book, Tom Riddle's notebook, when he was 16. The notebook is Tom Riddle's book, where he wrote his memories in what is in Horcrux, and gets destroyed by Harry Potter in the 2nd book. And he's holding that death soul of Lord Voldemort, the book. And Albus thinks about what happened there, and later they know it was a Horcrux, and Albus even destroyed one. Here we have a picture of Dumbledore's phoenix called Fawkes, and with Dumbledore Phoenix he give two feathers, or two I think it's called feathers, two of his bird wings of the I hope it's I called it correctly, but that's the key from, you can say, Harry Potter's and Voldemort's wands, and that's why they have the same, they come in from the same magical creature, because in every wand it's stuff from a magical creature, like a phoenix or a dragon or a unicorn or stuff like that. And by Harry and Voldemort was both the ingredients, the magical ingredients, you can say, was coming from which is also coming from a magical creature, was coming from Albus Dumbledore's magical phoenix, Fawkes. Here's another picture of Fawkes. It's a magical creature with Dumbledore is very close with. Fawkes is very loyal to Dumbledore. And as I said, Dumbledore and Harry were going after the Horcruxes to destroy Lord Voldemort, and they mostly were looking for memories from persons, from Albus himself, or from persons who sees something, sees what Tom Riddle or Voldemort, aka Voldemort, were doing at that specific time, because they want to find out what he was doing to become nearly unbeatable, and that he could live on even though his body were destroyed. So they were looking after memories, and Albus were getting all these memories. He was going for these memories all the time, working against Lord Voldemort. Here you see him take out one of his own memories, and here you see his wand, the Elder Wand, the Deathly Hallow. Here you see him taking out one of his memories, and here you see the Denkarium, where they can see the memories. And as I said, he destroyed one of the Horcruxes of Lord Voldemort. And this was the Horcrux who was there was the Horcrux who was in Marvologon's ring, Marvologon's ring. So the grandfather of Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort. And he destroyed that Horcrux, but the curse, he takes the ring on his finger. So Dumbledore takes the ring on his finger, Marvologon's rings on his finger, and that was, you can say, a failure for him, because Lord Voldemort, he cursed the ring, and when Dumbledore puts on the ring, he gets that curse from Lord Voldemort, and his hand, you can say, died after a while. So it was a curse that slowly begins to take over his body and kill him. And with the help of Snape, he could make it happen slower. So when he puts the ring on, he was cursed, and Dumbledore knows at that point he would die anyways. But Dumbledore said Snape should kill him, or he went to Snape and said, you have to kill me, because then Voldemort trusts you, have full trust in you, and yeah. And he said even to Snape, Harry Potter had also to die, but he didn't say why. He just pointed some things out, but he knows that Harry was an Horcrux and that Harry had to be destroyed because he is an Horcrux. So yeah. But why does he take the ring on his finger so carelessly? Because Dumbledore is a really powerful, really high, intelligent, brilliant, magical sorcerer, magical wizard. So why does he make such a careless and stupid failure, like just putting a ring on where he knows it? Voldemort had to curse the ring, because it's his Horcrux. It's a part of his soul. He has to keep it safe, So why does he take the ring on? And it's simply because what even Voldemort doesn't know, that ring it's not only in Horcrux, it's also a Deathly Hallow, the last one Dumbledore finds, the Resurrection Stone. You can see here the ring has a stone in somewhere in the middle, a stone with even the sign of the Deathly Hallows, and it was in the Marvolo Gaunt has had the ring as a family thing, you can say. It was in this family. It comes from Lord Voldemort's family, you can say, because they are coming from Salazar Slytherin itself. So it's from the Forlost, from the Gaunt family. It's the ring, and what they don't know, it's one part of the ring is the Resurrection Stone. With them, you can bring dead people back to life, and Dumbledore sees it and saws the opportunity to bring to see his parents again and to see Ariana again and say sorry of what he did. And so he was careless, put the ring on, and he was careless, put the ring on, and then he knows the curse gets him, Voldemort's curse gets him, and he knows I will be dead. But he was careless, but when he puts it on, he immediately knows, the curse happens, to attack him, and he immediately knows Lord Voldemort's curse will kill me anyways, and he wasn't afraid of it. He wasn't afraid of the curse. But he goes to Snape and said, you have to kill me, because then Voldemort trusts you, and Harry Potter had to die, and then Lord Voldemort can die. But he didn't tell Snape everything. He didn't tell them about the Horcruxes, and also not about the Deathly Hallows. So here we have Marvolo Gaunt's ring, the Horcrux, Dumbledore destroyed. And as I said, one part of the ring is the Resurrection Stone. Here we see the Resurrection Stone, how he is seen in the 7th movie on Harry Potter's hand, or in Harry Potter's hands, you can say, because he sees then dead people. He can speak with dead people again, with his parents and stuff like that. And that's what Dumbledore wanted to have for himself, you can say. Again, he just wants to say sorry. Here we have a picture of the Denkarium again, where Harry finds later on out everything about Dumbledore and Snape's story too. And here's another picture of Dumbledore. Again, when they go after what later then Harry Potter knows it's a fake Horcrux. The goes out after Horcrux, and Dumbledore gets poisoned and recapitulates what happened with Ariana, and recapitulates his nightmare, you can say. So Dumbledore died on 1997 on the 30 June of 1997. Dumbledore died, killed by Snape, free willingly. They planned it. He was disarmed by Malfoy. I have to think about the name now. By wait a minute. So yeah, I have to make some breaks. I know when I started it was the weather was shiny. Now it becomes dark. So it's a long story here. So Dumbledore died on the 30th June on 1997 in the sixth book, you can say, sixth Harry Potter book, sixth Harry Potter movie, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. So that was on 1997 he died. 1997, yeah. So Dumbledore died on 1997, killed by Snape free willingly. They planned it. He was disarmed by Draco Malfoy. So now we have his whole life, you can say. He was dying in the astronomy tower in Hogwarts, in the Hogwarts castle in Great Britain. So because we have now his whole life, I just want to confirm he was born on 1881 in the late August, Mort on the Wood, England, and he died on the 30th June in 1997 in the astronomy tower in Hogwarts, in the Hogwarts castle in Great Britain, of course. Yeah. So he died, as I said, free willingly. He planned it with Snape. He wanted that Snape killed him. And Voldemort then thinks truly Snape is one of my loyalist followers. And yeah, just because Dumbledore is dead. But Dumbledore isn't, as I said, wasn't afraid of the dead. He wanted to die. Snape killed him. They planned it. Yeah. So he died, you can say, by the time of the second Visiting War, who was from 1995 to 1997. So from the 5th to the 7th book, you can say. In the 6th he died. But yeah. Dumbledore, Lord Voldemort died in 1998. When he left, when Albus died, he left Harry Potter and his friends the keys to kill Lord Voldemort. And yeah, even though Harry Potter have to kill himself, but he gives him the resurrection stone. He gives it to Harry Potter, you can say, and even though Harry Potter doesn't know it at first, that he has him, so he can come back, but he couldn't, or that he, yeah. So Lord Voldemort you can say, not really killed Harry Potter. He just destroyed the Horcrux. So even without the Resurrection Stone, Harry Potter could come back, because I talk to it later on a video. It has something to do with the plot of Lord Voldemort, of Harry Potter and Lily Potter, of how Voldemort's body was destroyed for the first time. And yeah. So, but Dumbledore give them the key to end the story, to end the cruel control and power Lord Voldemort and the Death Eaters have about the Ministry and about the magical world itself. So he had even the control of the Ministry, you can say. But then, yeah. But it's known as the second Visiting War from 1994 to 1997. Then in 1998, Lord Voldemort takes over the control. In 1998, Lord Voldemort died, or Harry Potter killed Lord Voldemort, and forever the Horcruxes were all destroyed. And Dumbledore even, take a part. I mean, he helped Harry Potter and his friends to do that. And he even destroyed one of Lord Voldemort's Horcruxes, Marvellogorn's ring. He gave them the keys, the memories, the knowledge to do that. So he destroyed, defeats in a duel Gellert Grindelwald, and he helps to defeat Lord Voldemort. And it's even confirmed, even in the books. Harry Potter said it, but he's known then as the powerfulest magician at this time, or powerfulest wizard at this time, is Albus Dumbledore. You can say, if you make a ranking, Albus Dumbledore, Lord Voldemort, Gellert Grindelwald, then the normal persons. They are so powerful. But Dumbledore was the powerfulest, and is known as the powerfulest from all the time they know of. But yeah. As I said, he placed the ring on his finger, forgetting for one moment that the ring was cursed by Lord Voldemort. Yeah. And it's also kind of a key, because he knows it. He knows what even the ring is, and Lord Voldemort doesn't know really it, even though it was a high valuable thing for him, for Lord Voldemort, because Marvellogorn's ring was kind of a key thing, because it was not only a Horcrux and not only a thing for Salazar Slytherin's family, for the Gaunts, for the Gaunt family, a high valuable thing. It was also Deathly Hallow, because the Stone of the Ring, it's the Resurrection Stone. It's one of the Deathly Hallows. And again, that's the reason why Dumbledore took it on his finger and was so careless by doing so. Because when he realized it's not only a Horcrux, also it is a Deathly Hallow, in fact. The ring is also Deathly Hallow. In fact, the Resurrection Stone. He saw the possibility to see and speak with his family members, his mother Cantor, his father Percival, his sister Ariana, who are dead, and say sorry to them, because he wanted to apologize for his failures, especially for Ariana's death. For Ariana and Everford, you can say in general, because he felt guilty for what happened and for what Gellert Grindelwald did, and he was too blind to see it. Yeah. Even after his death, he takes a role in the Harry Potter books because of his story, where Harry Potter finds more and more about of it in the 7th book, or in the 7 movies. And also he sees him again in the so-called limbo kind of dimension, version, room, whatever you want to call it, between living and being dead, between life and death, you can say. And there Dumbledore and Harry Potter speak for the last time, you can say. So they made that at the limbo, even though you can say it's Dumbledore, it's not, but he was like Dumbledore, and because it's kind of dimension, as I said, in between life and death. And like the other headmasters of Hogwarts, Dumbledore is also one of the portraits in the room for the headmaster, is also a portrait of Dumbledore, because there you have all the ex headmasters of Hogwarts. You have portraits of them all, and they can move and they can talk in the magical world. And after Dumbledore died, you see there Albus Dumbledore, a portrait of Albus Dumbledore too, and it can speak and it can move, but it's not Albus Dumbledore, it's his portrait, And he's seen together in this portrait with Fawkes, that shows how what kind of bond they had. They had really there was a deep bonding between Albus Dumbledore and his Phoenix Fawkes, and kind of reminds me of Newt Scamander, because he had his magical creatures who helps him even in duels and stuff like that, and they can help him, and they're very useful. And magical creatures, a lot of people don't really care about them, And Dumbledore has Fawkes, his Phoenix, and it's very loyal to him, the Phoenix, and helps him all the time and does what Dumbledore wants, or what Dumbledore, if he cannot do it, the Phoenix can do it. They have really big and deep bond. And even when he was dead, Dumbledore's portrait and Snape were following some plans, were speaking about some plans. For example, Snape gives Harry and his friends, shows them where to find the sword of Gryffindor, where they can destroy Horcruxes with it, And so with the memory of Snape, Harry finds out that he's also an Horcrux, and story carried on, and the Horcrux gets destroyed, and Voldemort died. And to honor Albus Dumbledore, it was such a meaningful person for Harry Potter and his friends, and especially for Harry. So to honor him, you can say Harry and Ginny Potter's second son was named Albus Severus Potter, after Albus Dumbledore and Severus Snape. So that they think of those two, and it's kind of an honoring thing to do for them. And it shows what they meant for them, especially what they meant for Harry Potter. And even Harry Potter said, and even it is confirmed, like Dumbledore was the greatest wizard of their time, He was powerful, he was brilliant, but also he was very good, and, they had a very deep relationship and bond. There was a very deep relationship and bond between Albus and Harry Potter, and he was a mentor for Harry. Here you see another picture of Snape. And here you see the moment when Snape killed Dumbledore, when Dumbledore falls off the Twin Tower and are dead in Hogwarts. So here, that's when, because the killing curse, the Avada Kedavra, the killing curse of Snape gets him, and he was taken to the air, or takes his body to the air, and then he falls down. So he falls from the Twin Tower down to the field for Hogwarts, you can say, or in Hogwarts. Here you see a picture of Albus Dumbledore. You see Bathilda Bagshot again. She's kind of important. Later, even when Dumbledore is dead, Harry Potter wants to find out more about Dumbledore, and also about the history, you can say, of Dumbledore, and who is Gellert Grindelwald, and what are the Deathly Hallows. He doesn't know it all of it in the beginning, and what does it has to do with Lord Voldemort or stopping Lord Voldemort. And so he gets to Bathilda Bagshot, even though she was dead back then, and this was then in fact Nagini. In fact, Nagini, the snake of Lord Voldemort, takes over, or was seen. It looks like Bathilda Bagshot back then. It was a trap for Harry. But so Bathilda Bagshot plays a role even in the 7 books and the actual story. Then, even though she's dead, then she with her body, you can say, with her being there, they could trap Harry Potter, even though it failed. And here you see again a picture of Dumbledore. Again, in the first and second movie, he was portrayed by Richard Harris. You see him here. And later on, he was portrayed by Michael Gambon. Here you say Grindelwald, again, who steals the Elder Wand from Gregorowitsch. That's one of the kind of clues, or key things even Voldemort and Harry Potter have to find out. And it's one of the key how Lord Voldemort could be beaten, because Lord Voldemort had the Elder Wand, but it wasn't really, the Elder Wand wasn't really following Lord Voldemort's orders, because he doesn't really know how wands function in general. They are also magical things, and you have to be, just because you take the wand doesn't mean the wand follows your orders fully, And that was something that Lord Voldemort didn't understand, and it's why Harry Potter could beat him, even though Lord Voldemort had the Elder Wand. It has something to do with Lord Voldemort, killed Snape, because Snape killed Dumbledore to get the Elder Wand really, but Harry Potter had in the end the Elder Wand because Draco Malfoy disarmed Dumbledore, so the Elder Wand was in. Even though Draco Malfoy doesn't really had the Elder Wand would have followed Draco Malfoy's orders. But then Draco Malfoy, who had before disarmed Dumbledore, was later on in the story disarmed by Harry Potter. So then Harry Potter possesses the Elder Wand. But in the book he destroys the Elder Wand. In the movies he destroyed the Elder Wand. In the movies he destroyed the Elder Wand. In the books he gives the Elder Wand back to Albus Dumbledore. So back in his tomb, he brings it back in his tomb. because from there Lord Voldemort took the Elder Wand, and when Harry Potter died, naturally the Elder Wand cannot harm anyone anymore, and nobody really, even when he will be kind of disarmed, nobody knows about the Elder Wand and the Deathly Hallows. Just a few characters, and they wouldn't do something to Harry. So the curse of the Elder Wand especially is broken. Harry Potter loses the Resurrection Stone, and the only thing he have even in the future, or he want to have even in the future, is the Cloak of Invisibility, because he had him all the time. And it's one of the things that he gets it from Dumbledore, but Dumbledore just gives it to him because it was James Potter's cloak. So it's something he has from his parents, from his father, so he keeps it. But most people doesn't even really want to go for the cloak. They want to have power. They want to have most likely the Elder Wand, sometimes the Resurrection Stone also. But so the curse of the Deathly Hallows is kind of broken then. Here we see Lord Voldemort meeting Gellert Grindelwald in the movies. And Gellert Grindelwald even lives in the time of the Harry Potter books, and he lives even longer. He died from Lord Voldemort in the 7th book, so in 1970, I guess. But 1997, I guess 1997. But he was always imprisoned back then, always imprisoned. Not in Great Britain, and where he comes from, Numengrad, Romania, or something like that. There is also a prison like Azkaban, and there, I forgot the name, there Gellert Grindelwald was imprisoned. Lord Voldemort goes there because he wanted to know where the Elder Wand is. Gellert Grindelwald doesn't told him really, but after that he knows it is by the Elder Wand is by Albus Dumbledore had the Elder Wand, so he breaks into his white tomb, white tomb. It's Dumbledore had a white tomb, and steals the Elder Wand, and it wasn't following Lord Voldemort's orders. Lord Voldemort gets destroyed. Harry Potter puts it back. So Lord Voldemort is the one who kills, in fact, in the 7th book, in the 7th movie, Gellert Grindelwald. In the movie, I think he just goes away. In the book, he killed Gellert Grindelwald, but Gellert Grindelwald really gives a shit and doesn't even help Lord Voldemort, and doesn't really care is afraid or fear Lord Voldemort, and doesn't fear him. And because of the fact that he didn't help Voldemort, Harry Potter said even in the limbo, was it called limbo or limbus? Doesn't even, I think limbo. Harry Potter even said in the limbo, Gellert Grindelwald maybe in the end wanted to, felt guilty for his failures or stuff like that, and that's why he doesn't told Lord Voldemort where to find the Elder Wand, or doesn't help him because he feels guilty and he wants to help Albus in the end. But we don't know. Nobody knows what his real intentions was, but we know that he doesn't help Lord Voldemort. And yeah, so he, in that case, you can say he helped Albus and Harry Potter. As I said, after that, breaks in, gets the Elder Wand. Here we see Lord Voldemort with the Elder Wand. Here we see another picture of Lord Voldemort. Here we see another picture of Lord Voldemort, who used the Elder Wand here. And here we see Aberforth, Albus' brother, when he meets Ron, Hermione, and Harry Potter in the movie or the book. Here we see Aberforth on the left side. Harry had to be there somewhere, and Ron and Hermione on the right side. And because I speak about the patroni or patronus of the different characters in the videos I did before, I spoke about the patroni of Harry Potter, Hermione and Ron. So I have to speak here also about the patroni. And because I spoke so much about the patroni, I have here a picture with some patroni. You see here the I think horse from Chang. Then Dumbledore's Patronus, we come later on to him again. Then Hermione's otter, Harry's deer, no, Ginny's horse. I don't know what Chang had. Professor McGonagall's cat, Ron's terrier, dog, Jack Russell Terrier, dog or Jack. It's when you go specifically Jack Russell Terrier by Ron. The rabbit for Luna, and for Snape and Lily Potter they had. I doesn't really know the name. Not a deer. German it's called Hirschkuh, but I will talk in another video about the Patronus, maybe more in detail. But now we come to Albus Patronus. But before we come to his, here we have another pic of Harry's and James Patroni, the deer. And here we see Albus again with his Elder Wand. And his Patronus is a phoenix. Surprise, surprise. A phoenix. Here's another pic of Albus and his phoenix fox. Yeah, and that's it for the video. His phoenix fox, you see here a painting of it, of his phoenix, or of a phoenix. So yeah, that's everything I have to say about Dumbledore. I hope I forgot nothing. So yeah, Dumbledore, to sum up, a great and powerful wizard, a mentor. He was doing a lot for the rights of Muggles, maybe because of also the failures or the bad things Grindelwald did. He fights for Muggle rights and rights of magical creatures, and was a mentor figure even, and someone who helps always you can say the good side, or Harry Potter and his friends Hermione and Ron. Yeah, so that's it for now. Here we see, yeah, Harry Potter, Albus Dumbledore. Yeah, and it ends with a picture of his Phoenix Fox. That's everything for now for Albus, and yeah, see you for the next video. I will make maybe shorter videos to sum it more up, because it's so much right now here. But yeah, it's a long video. It will be the longest Harry Potter video. I think, I'm pretty sure. So that's it, and see you. Bye. Goodbye. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed to watch the video. Bye bye.